Hi, do you have a sore jaw, or perhaps you've been told that you grind your teeth at night? Well, during the daytime, you can hold on to stress around the jawline and the masseter muscle, and this can be fascia around the muscle area restricted. So in today's video, we are going to do some great jawline decompression exercises to really release this, and then also a scalp release massage as well, as it's all connected. Then finishing off with lymphatic drainage so we can reduce the toxins and waste around the jawline area and around the top of the head and from the neck. So I've been a facialist for the last 8 years and I'm really passionate to help you on your skincare journey. So first things first, you want to start off with clean skin, and I'm applying a little bit of my facial oil here. If you've got a face cream, that's fine too. Just something so you've got a little bit of grip and glide, so you're not compromising the skin by dragging or pulling. All along the lower part of the face, in front of the ears, top of the jawline, under the jawline, and just down by the top of the scalp here, by the hairline, and down by the temples, down to the collarbone. And where our collarbone is, we've just got some indentations. So if you just take the pads of the fingers and give these a few gentle presses. And what this does, this really opens up the lymphatic gateways. Now, before we do our jawline decompression, we want to really prep the skin. So taking the pads of the fingers again, just do some gentle tapping from the chin all along the jawline, waking up and helping up with blood flow and circulation. This is also really good routine. You can do this in the morning, but nighttime, particularly if you've held on to stress during the daytime and your jaw may feel a little bit tight or sore. Let's just do a little bit of tapping just under the jawline and working all the way along. Right, so taking the fingers here, if you can just place it in front of your ear, literally where the masseter muscle hinges, literally from the cheekbone to the top of that masseter muscle. If you can just gently open up your mouth, you should feel an indentation. And this is where we want to press. So we're going to just have our mouth closed, and we're then going to take a deep belly breath in and then slowly open the mouth with an exhalation. Now you don't need the mouth to open too much, just halfway, just melting the fingers into the skin, onto the muscle. What we're doing here is we're allowing also creating space which for any fascia glue which may be stuck onto the muscle and the bone. And by doing this, we're allowing for more blood flow, circulation and detoxification, as the fascia is a bit like a connective tissue and it can get quite stuck. And if it gets stuck on the bone, obviously it's a bit like a dam, it can be more restricting. So we're really literally opening it up. And then once we've melted into the skin, just very, very slowly go up and down with the fingers, a micro fascia movement here. Now I like to do these in a seated position with my feet firmly on the ground and my back nice and straight and my shoulders nice and straight. Head on top of the shoulders so you're not hunching forward, so nice and in alignment. This again will help with blood flow, circulation as well as detoxification. Let's work in the other direction here now. Making sure the the jaw is nice and relaxed, and the rest of the face is relaxed as well. Hold a lot of tension and stress in the face. So again, with the mouth half open, and then just round circular motion one way. This is again very light, this is very slow. Really releasing any of that fascia tension. And then work in the opposite direction. Now we've worked the jawline quite, and the masseter muscle here quite deeply. If it is too painful, you can always ease off with the pressure. And then just do some gentle tapping. And then taking one hand onto our cheekbone, taking the finger as a hook. Again, now just gently breathing in for 4. And as you breathe out, melt the skin. And now we're going to work all alongside the masseter muscle here. Making sure we're nice and relaxed, not hunching forward. And then just very, very slowly gliding all the way along again. Using the finger as an anchor, we really don't want to be dragging or pulling at the skin. Now, I'm in my mid-50s, I'm 55, so obviously you tend to lose collagen and elastin as well, so to be very, very gentle here. Again, using the finger as an anchor. But because we've applied an amazing facial oil as well, or whatever you've used, again, we're going to get a bit more of a grip and glide, so we're not dragging or pulling at the skin. All the way to that jawline, give it a little wiggle, and then on the other side, placing our hand just where our cheekbone is, taking our finger as a hook, melting in with a nice belly breath in. And as we're melting out, just very, very gently, working all along the jawline, sorry, the masseter muscle. Nice relaxed mouth, no tension in the face. Head on top of the shoulders, not hunching forward. Now you can do this in a mirror as well. It's a bit easier actually. You can sort of see where your alignment is if you are looking in a mirror. And just give that little wiggle. So now we've worked on this masseter muscle. So let's now work along the jawline area. So we've taken our fingers here onto our chin, taking the finger as a hook again, gently breathing in, melting into the skin, nice relaxed face. And then just very, very slowly working the knuckle all along the jawline, using the other finger as a hook, or fingers. Again, great mandible jawline release here. It's really good jaw decompression. Again, what we're doing here is we're what I would call unstitching any fascia glue from the jawline bone here. So we're creating a little bit more space for nutrients, oxygen and blood flow and circulation. Nice and slowly. Again, you don't want to be dragging at the skin. And when you get to the end, just give a little wiggle at the end with your knuckle, and then on the other side, finger onto the chin, gently breathing in, melting into the skin, and then very slowly working along. Now, I like to do these 3 or 4 times a week. You can spend a bit more time on a certain area if you feel you need a bit more work on a little area. Obviously, you can spend a bit more time or a bit less, but just be really gentle with yourself here. And again, if it's too crunchy, it's a little bit painful, you can always ease off with the pressure and build up while doing these. Little wiggle at the end. Let's just come along and just do a nice little massage with the fingers, just releasing this here. As I've said before, it's all connected. So we've worked the masseter muscle and the jawline. So let's come to the top of our scalp here, taking the fingers and taking the pads of the fingers, planting them into the top of the head first of all. Taking a belly breath in. As you breathe out, melting the fingers into the scalp. And we tend to forget about this area. Always working on the face and the neck area, but we always tend to forget about the scalp. And if we have been tight and stressed in the day, obviously you can, you get quite tight on the scalp as well. So we need to release this. And then when the fingers are nicely planted on, let's do a great scalp decompression here. And I'm working around circular motion. It's really relaxing. You don't need to go fast, just nice and slow. Again, the pads of the fingers are planted onto the scalp, so we're not moving any hair follicles with our fingers. We're just moving the scalp. So it's moving along with that. And I'm working the opposite direction now. Nice and relaxing. Always makes me want to feel a bit sleepy when you're doing this. And let's work a little bit further, sort of middle of the head now. Again, planting our fingers in, our pads of the fingers melting into skin. And this is the point where you can do a little bit more deep belly breathing if you like. And then round circular motions with the fingers. I like to start going one way first. Nice and relaxed face, relaxed jawline. Okay, making sure we're nice and straight, but not too rigid either. And then just work in the opposite direction. Then let's just come to the side of the scalp here, by the ears here, just above the ears. And then again, just gently place our fingers, and also we're using the thumbs, by the way, taking the pads and just melting in the skin. Then round circular motions one way. It's quite good to do in the evening or the morning before you brush your hair or go to bed. It does get a bit messy. And if you find that you're not getting much movement on your scalp, it's because it's quite tight. So after doing these a few times, you'll probably find your scalp will be a little bit looser as we're decompressing any of that tight fascia. And then work in the opposite direction. And then let's work at the bottom of the head, the occipital bone here. Again, placing our thumb and our fingers at the bottom of the head here. So we've got the whole head has been decompressed, if you like. A gentle, deep belly breath in. And breathing out, melting the fingers and the thumb into the scalp area here. And then just work in one way. You could actually do the scalp decompression every day if you wanted to, or every evening, particularly if it sort of really becomes a really good routine before bedtime as well. Nice round circular motions, nice and slow. Taking away all the stress of the day, and then work in the opposite direction. And then just gently release. So we've done some really great fascia work on the masseter muscle, the jawline. We've done some great fascia work on the scalp area. So just taking our fingers from the top of the scalp, just very gently glide down to the bottom of the occipital bone here, to the bottom of the head. What we're doing here is a little bit of lymphatic drainage as well. And then placing our fingers onto our forehead area, just very gently gliding from the center of the forehead towards the temples. And we're doing here, removing toxins and waste within the lymph, which is also very close to the surface of the skin. And then just work above the cheekbones, from the jawline heading towards the ear area here. And then thumb placed under the jawline, fingers as a hook, gliding along. One of my favourite moves, this one. Again, we've got plenty of lymph nodes here. So because we've created space by releasing some tight fascia, we can have the lymphatic drainage is going to work better. And then just in front of the ears where we have plenty of lymph nodes. And then behind the ears where we have plenty of lymph nodes. And then just working all along the occipital bone here. Round circular motions, bottom of the head, top of the neck. Again, we hold a lot of tension in the head and in the neck. And then when the fingers are touching, one hand at a time, gliding down the big SCM muscle down to the collarbone and on the other side. And then from the chin all the way down, our beginning point is our end point. So if you can just take the pads of the fingers just above the collarbone, we've got those indentations. And if you can just give those a few gentle presses. And this will release all the toxins and waste removed from the scalp area and the facial area into the body, ready for elimination. Now, as always, I'd highly recommend a glass of lukewarm water to hydrate the fascia, but also to help with lymphatic drainage as well, and reducing those toxins. Now, again, please check out my description box down below. I have Substack now, so if you like more of a bloggy style as well, I do an article twice a week and also notes, and I have Alison Jane facial oil here if you'd like to check that out as well, and a free book as well on 3 fascia tension points on the face as well. So if you'd like to check that ebook out, which is for free. And I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Oh, also very quickly, please comment down below, tell me how you found this, and if there's any other techniques you'd love me to share with you. I always respond to all my comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.